only chick I let hang with me up here. Tell them what you got to say.
My name is Mary Magdalene. I was a disciple of Jesus. I was present at the crucifixion, and I was the first person he appeared to after the resurrection. I was known for my ability in times of difficulty to be able to turn the hearts of the apostles toward the good.
The good.
Some people think I was a whore.
Misogynistic. Jerks.
Other people think Jesus was my husband.
That's not taking. Jerks.
I was not a whore. I was an unmarried woman in a town filled with youth.
Filled with you.
And also, I was not the wife of Jesus either.
Still love ya.
But I am pretty sure that I was his best friend. We shared an intimacy that I could not put to words, except to say we responded to each other's hearts and were in love with what we found.
Love.
I also knew Judas Iscariot pretty well too.
Gangsta.
Out of the 12, he was the most moody and the most impetuous. And yet, he was my favorite.
Tupac.
Some ways, I think he was Jesus' favorite too. Judas was almost an alter ego to Jesus. He was his shadow to Jesus' light. He was the sour to the sweet and the cool to the warm. They often walked together, more often than not arguing. No one could rise up Jesus like Judas did. I can remember times when Jesus emerged from an argument with Judas positively furious, snorting and shaking his head wildly, red-faced in exasperation. And he would tell me later what they'd been fighting about, still agitated. But inevitably, we'd end up staring up in space, sighing, smiling. I think if you were to say that Jesus was good for Judas, you would not be mistaken.
Not mistaken.
When I think of Judas, my heart breaks.
But very nice. If human life is but 1 mile in a billion, then how could God abandon anyone so soon in the journey?
I don't know. Jesus never talks about it. That's how I know that his heart hurts worse than mine.
Next witness.
Your Honor, the prosecution calls Keith Richards to the stand.
Fajita. Keith Richards isn't dead.
Have you seen that guy? Okay, fine. In that case, the prosecution calls Kai Visiel, the high priest of the Sanhedrin, to the stand. Kai Visiel, the high priest of the Sanhedrin. Hello to you.
Hello?
Shalom, as it were.
Shalom.
Now, Kai Visiel, can you clarify something for me? Is there a Caiaphas the younger?
No.
And yet you're the elder.
Yes.
Interesting. My cousin Omar is a in any case, in the Bible it says that Judas Iscariot made an approach to you, a dark and nefarious approach, in an attempt to sell Jesus Christ's peace to the Roman authorities. Is this correct?
He did.
Because in a film once, Caiaphas, I saw it was you that approached Judas Iscariot.
It was Judas Iscariot who approached me at the temple, but not the other way around.
Why not reach out and touch someone?
Are you asking me why I did not approach one of the apostles initially?
Yes.
I think it would work.
Why not?
There's an old rabbinical saying, let them kill you, but do not cross the line.
Crossing the line, this means.
Betraying your conscience, your ideals, the law.
Okay. So Judas Iscariot, he crossed the line.
Yes, yes he did.
Caiaphas, the final question. In Western culture, it said that the most prized virtue is honesty. But in Eastern culture, which Judea was a part of at the time, it said that the most prized virtue is loyalty. Is this correct?
Counts. There are 613 sacred laws in our Torah, and following them requires both honesty and loyalty. But what is most important of these requirements is obedience. That is what is most prized.
Now, was Judas Iscariot obedient?
To his own will and desires, yes, I believe that he was.
How did that make you feel?
Judas served a necessary purpose, but as a fellow Jew, I confess he disgusted me.
Thank you, Caiaphas. And might I add, you were much more handsome than so discreet tricks.
High priest of the Sanhedrin. That was an extremely powerful and prestigious position in Judea, was it not?
It was.
In fact, except for the Roman governor, King Herod, the high priest was, in actuality, the most powerful position in Judea, correct?
Correct.
Would you mind looking me in the eye when you respond to my questions?
My position was an important one. It required me to uphold the sacred laws, protect my people, and maintain our traditions in our temple.
Caiaphas, is there a reason you won't meet my gaze, or is ignoring women simply another component of the tradition you were charged to maintain?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness isn't just a holy man, but a very holy man. How can he be expected to give his expert testimony and resist the incredibly alluring and oh so pulpituitous gaze of my outline? This guy. That's it.
I withdraw the question.
Sexy vixen, you're warned.
Hey!
Forgive me.
Caiaphas, you stated to the prosecution that Judas Iscariot crossed the line and that he disgusted you, correct?
I did.
Well, then maybe you can help me out here, because I'm a little confused. Judas Iscariot handed Jesus of Nazareth over to you, correct?
Yes.
And you then hand Jesus over to Pontius Pilate, did you not?
Yes, I did.
So then what exactly is the difference between you and Judas Iscariot? Because unless I'm missing something here, I fail to see it.
Between me and Judas Iscariot, big difference.
Caiaphas, you were a rabbi and a Jew. Jesus was a rabbi and a Jew. Was it not considered crossing the line for one rabbi to hand over another rabbi to be killed by pagans?
Jesus was a blaspheming, seditious rabbi, and I did not know for sure that he would be killed.
But the penalty for sedition was crucifixion, correct?
That was the Roman charge, not mine.
Right, your charge was blasphemy. And what was the penalty for blasphemy?
Your Honor, I will not sit here and be blamed for the death of Christ yet again.
No one's blaming you for the death of Christ, Caiaphas. I'm simply asking you a question, which I'm directing you to answer now before the court. You charged Jesus of Nazareth with blasphemy. What was the penalty for blasphemy?
Stoning followed by hanging.
So then how can you sit here and say that you didn't know for sure that Jesus would be killed?
Jesus could have easily saved himself,
Saved himself
by
how?
retracting his blasphemous claims.
Jesus was fulfilling your Old Testament prophecies of Isaiah to the
He
letter.
was also fulfilling the Old Testament prophecies in Deuteronomy, which called against false messiahs and marvel workers.
And yet Judas Iscariot, who came forward in the face of this great threat, was considered not a patriot, but a traitor. A traitor who, in your words, disgusted you. Why is that, Caiaphas?
Because he handed Jesus over for money.
And why did you hand Jesus over?
The words and deeds of Jesus were inciting rebellion. A rebellion which would have been met under Roman rule with a bloodbath. A massacre, counselor. I determined it would be better to have one man dead rather than 1,000.
I see. So you were looking out for the common Jewish man, is that correct?
I was.
The exchange rates at the temple were also extremely unfavorable to the common Jewish man at the time, and the purification pools where the common Jewish man was required by law to be cleansed before entering the temple. The purification pools were not free either, Caiaphas, were they?
Cunningham.
No. I'll answer. The laws were the laws and the rates were the rates.
And do you have a sliding scale for the poor?
No.
So the poor, who constituted a large percentage of the common Jewish man at the time, remained impure and unclean and were denied the right of worship.
I think you've made your point.
No, I don't think that I have, Caiaphas. Your position, Caiaphas, did not require you to be popular with the common Jewish man, did it?
My position required me to answer to God.
Did God appoint you high priest?
It was with God's
It was
blessing.
with Rome's blessing, Caiaphas. And at the end of the day, for the 18 years that you served, it was Rome that you had to answer to, and Rome you had to be popular with. The day that you showed Rome you couldn't handle yourself, that would have been the day that thrown out of your ass. Isn't that right?
I belong to God, not Rome. My job is to uphold the 613 sacred laws, protect my people and my temple, and maintain our traditions. And that's what I did.
Was not Jesus of Nazareth one of your people? Whether he was a prophet or a messiah or a holy man or a crazy man, was he not one of your own? Was it not crossing considered the height of treachery for one rabbi to betray another rabbi to your oppressors? Tell us, Caiaphas, that at the end of the day, there is a difference in the eyes of God between what you did and what Judas Iscariot did. This is purgatory, Caiaphas. I've got all day.
In terms of result, no difference.
How about in terms of follow-through? Judas recanted and tried to return the silver, did he not?
He did.
And did you, Caiaphas, do anything at all to try to prevent Jesus' death?
No.
therein lies the real difference between you and Judas Iscariot. And yet you sit here and say that he disgusted you. If that's true, then I wonder how you must feel about yourself.
That's between me and God.
Well, then for your sake, I sure hope your God's a lot more forward-thinking than Judas Iscariot's. Step down, you're excused.
You people call me, and I come. You question, I answer. But please, never say that you understand the position I was in, because you have no idea the position I was in. And never try to excuse or forgive me, because I'm not interested in your forgiveness. God's forgiveness, this interests me. Yours, I could care less. Why? Because you have no idea. Do you know who needs forgiveness? The people who perpetrated the lies and exaggerations that became sacrosanct fact and led to hatred and violence over the past 2,000 years. And they need not be forgiven by you, but by me. Me and my people. It's the writers of the Gospels who need forgiveness. No, sir, I know what it is to suffer. Do you? I don't think so.
You're still very handsome, Caiaphas.
If I am, it's because God made me. Not because you said so.